So the key thing at this stage, is that you understand, that prices don't just go up and down. Prices can only change if there's been some sort of underlying change that's caused it. If you end up drawing something, if you start by saying, price is at equilibrium P1, and there is an increase in demand, or and we end up here, then that's not right. Because there's no reason that price would be up at P2 unless, given this diagram, there's no reason for price to have changed from P1 in the first place. So prices can only change if there is an underlying shift in economic conditions. Something different has happened. Change in one of those things that we've held constant is causing supply and demand to change, and as a result of which, prices can be driven either up or down. They're only going to go either up or down if, firstly, there's a change in demand, consumers' willingness and ability, and their desire, their want for the product, or two, there's a change in supply, the ability and willingness of producers to supply a product at any given price. So, if we take, essentially, therefore, there are four possible reasons that a price could change. Firstly, there could be, so if we look at increase in price, there could be a sudden increase in demand. So demand rises from D1 to D2, and as a result of which, at the original price, there's excess demand, prices are pushed up, from P1 to P2. We end up with a higher price and a higher quantity. Or secondly, prices could rise if there was a sudden decrease in supply. Supply could fall from S1 to S2. So at the original price, again, there's excess demand, and that drives price up to a higher price of P2. Quantity falls from Q1 to Q2. So an increase in price, if it's caused by an increase in demand, is associated with an increase in output. If it's associated with a fall in supply, we get a fall in output. But in both cases, it's driven by excess demand. In one case, demand rises, and that creates excess demand. In the other case, supply falls, and that creates excess demand. If we finally say, well, what could cause a decrease in price? Then what we know is that could have been caused by, as we saw a minute ago, a sudden increase in supply. So at the original price of P1, prices are driven down to P2. So we get a decrease in price and an increase in supply, increase in equilibrium. Or it could have been caused by a sudden fall in demand. Demand could have fallen from D to D1, as a result of which prices again fall from P1 to P2, but this time output falls from Q1 to Q2. So what we can see is that there are four possibilities. It could be that prices go up and quantity goes up. It could be that price go up and quantity goes down. It could be that prices go down and quantity goes up. And it could be that price go down and quantity goes down. And that's why you can't just decide what happens to price. You need to analyse what happens to supply and demand. And remember, when you finish your diagram, your market should be back in equilibrium. If your diagram ends up looking something like this, then you got it wrong. So that's how equilibrium works.